Good morning. I'm Federico Giacanelli. Last speech before coffee. I'll try to keep it short. There are some text in slides, but they are meant not to be read here, but just lead to you as I mean to give you some more information. I'm going to talk about our vision about disseminating open badges in the full higher education student life cycle, and particularly in our platform, Bestr. That's the agenda, our vision, and our role as Cineca in open recognition towards on Bestr. How Bestr can help the universities, and then focus on student life cycle and future outlook. So everybody knows what open badges are. That's our main slide when we talk about open badges, a visual representation of acquired skill or accomplished achievements. But we see kind of double nature of open badges. They carry a message, the badge assertion, recognizing of skills, but they can also be seen as tools, as a glue that links different systems, a reliable tool linking different systems together and allowing integration and triggering of events. And this slide is not to be taken literally, but it depicts, just highlights the main components we put together in an open badges ecosystem, a learning record store that allows interoperability between student information systems, LMS, Moodle LMS, but in principle other LMS, and the Bestr badging platform. Now, the mandatory slides about who we are and why we think we are playing an important role in that ecosystem. And Cineca is an Italian inter-university consortium founded nearly 50 years ago, and composed by 7 universities and other public research institutions. We have 3 places, but the main thing to know is that we do both scientific services, high performance computing, scientific visualization, and interactive virtual environments, and many automatization for university processes, and also for healthcare organization. So, when we read the call of the Bologna Declaration, now evolving in the challenges, we focused on the second part of the call, the open recognition about technology and infrastructure. And since we hold the majority of processes regarding students inside universities, and we offer our services to more than 1 million of students, we thought we are fitting perfectly the role of the call. I'm reading here. To everybody who can establish a trustworthy system of human and machine verifiable learning credential. So in 2015 we built Bestr, our badging platform, in order to leverage, I'm going to fast forward a little bit because we all know that, and to explore the space of non-formal in life-wide learning and in the full lifelong learning on the time axis space of certification of skill, professional proofs of acquired skill. And we put the badge and the intersection of some special boundaries of this world. So, Cineca is a technology enabler. Bestr is a platform for leveraging open badges to valorize lifelong life learning, life-wide learning. A couple of slides about Bestr in 2017, we have a full range of public browsable badges about a wide variety of topics. You can see under every badge the number of owners. We created an entity called the projects in order to host all the badges inside the similar range of topics or inside the university project. And under each project there is the number of badges contained by that project. So after 2 years and a half, Bestr is a platform with a magazine. It is a curated badge publishing with an editorial team that guides the issuer in writing correctly and in a very similar way from badge to badge, the badge class. We can issue manually the badges, but more importantly, we have implemented some API to integrate external platform for automatic issuing and importing outcomes and evidences. Of course, we offer federated login for educational institutions all over Europe, of course, Italy. That's some numbers to be proud of. 80 organizations, 500 published badge classes. We have more than 100 endorsements and 20,000 issued and claimed badges. The URL is what will be our, is not our homepage, but what it will be conceptually our own page. You can see all the featured badges, and you can search for badges. That's a slide from the blog post about the 2 years of badges. You can see all the topics and the different claim rate of the badges, where languages are prominent because we did a heavily participated program about languages with Municipality of Milan and also University of Padova and Milano Bicocca. That's a bit of showcase of where Bestr has been presented. Okay, the only slide I need about badges is that one. That's graphic that shows the structure we have in mind. At the center is the badge with its standard compliant definition, and we look at the badge as a pluggable system. Our badges can meet simple textual criteria to be assigned, but also programmatic criteria coming from paths that we built as entities inside Bestr, paths of assessment resources and paths of learning resources. So if you are a learning provider, a training agency, you have your learning course, you can plug in through an API calls in our badging system and trigger an automatic issuing of badges based on your KPI that Bestr doesn't know nothing about. The idea, the badge as a hub to build some greater and interoperable infrastructure around. So, now I have all my building blocks placed. Now I can focus on higher education student life cycle. During these 2 years, Bestr has implemented some use cases that also yesterday has been presented by several universities, use case of integration. So we, looking at all the way that came in our mind that Bestr could help university world. This slide comes from our blog post, and I colored the points directly involving students. There is one boundary point, collateral competencies, give value to your learning materials, that is both useful to the university as itself and to the students. And then we we moved from a single isolated use cases to a constellation of use cases about helping the university. And so we, since, as I told you at the beginning, we produce student information systems, e-learning, server in different configuration for different universities, and we try to harmonize all this complexity together. We in fact control and digitize and improve the full student life cycle, we as Cineca. So the step is, we as Bestr, how can Open Badge could further improve the student life cycle in a harmonized way. So the student life cycle is composed of 6 steps. And so why Open Badge inside? For 2 reasons. Because they are simply Open Badge. Simply is not to say the least. They carry value, the well-known value we are talking about 2 edition of Open Epic, the visibility of skill and so on. But, if you recall my second slide, the badges are the glue that allows different systems to talk to each other by carrying actual information about student achievements. So let's try to see in practice, in reality, these 2 key points in every step. The first step is orientation. A prospect student. A badge could be targeted to a student in the last 2 years of high school in the need of finding inspiration and confirmation about the choice of a university. A hypothetical badge could be composed by a learning assessment pattern from your learning courses containing sample materials from actual university courses. Could be online on blend and MOOC type. And the Bestr badge could be automatically issued, could carry certified developer skills, and even allows exam credits or tax discount. In fact, after the presentation from the University of Padua yesterday, I had this slide. It was my question to Padova, because if even it is not a use case intentionally implemented for the orientation, it fits the case. That badge that you can actually claim on Bestr by searching for EduOpenOp project is a badge about mathematical precalculus, giving basic knowledge in mathematics concerning equation, inequalities, and so on. But more important, this course allows students to follow the undergraduate first courses in mathematics of any faculty in science, computer science, and engineering. From the technical point of view, this badge is automatically issued by on completing the KPI of the LMS, and Bestr reads a message carried by XAPI and issues the badge. And this badge has been actually delivered to 25 Italian high schools during a project by a Minister of Education called the Project About Scientific Degrees. And 30 selected students have been tutored by a teacher, guiding them to the choice of the university. And the data are being elaborated now, so we don't have the result of this project. But I realized yesterday that we have already a perfect use case for this first step in orientation. Second step, as admission and enrollment, is similar to the first one. When the student is last year on high school, he got his diploma, and need to show the skill needed for the admission a particular university course. We can imagine a course similar to the other one in an online LMS, triggering automatically an issuing, and maybe integrated with student information system. And for those of you who knows the Cineca student information system called Bestr, could be ready for concorso per titoli. A side note, when we emphasize on the thing that we control the student life cycle and we produce student information systems, it is not in the lock-in framework. It's our expertise that plays a great role in seeing that vision, but the system is strongly open to everybody who willing to integrate with Open API as Experience API. So any system could be integrated like this, even if we tend to mention more often our systems. Third phase, exams. In principle, we could take of university published badges representing specific skills of some exams. Maybe those badges could permit to identify high-stake skills, both to be spent in the academic context or outside. An example, soft skill, some methodology or language skill. On the student information system, we could have the automatically awarded badge and transcript registration. It can be exploited immediately in different contexts. Fourth step is credit recognition, that has been extensively explained yesterday, and we have two use cases of Milano Bicocca with their extracurricular activities, entrepreneurship badges, and badges about soft skill and music, cinema, video, acting, and so on. In that case, badges are issued manually, and the University of Padova language badges and also cardiopulmonary resuscitation badges that are issued automatically coming from their LMS and with their credits automatically recognized in student information system. A slide just to depict the mechanism of credit recognition. First step, the badge is created as a badge class and published on Bestr. The university, if it is not the issuer of that badge, maybe a second university could endorse by logging in on Bestr and click on endorse that badge. So signaling to the student information system that that badge is valuable to that university. After the endorsing on the back end of the student information system, the badges become visible and available to the university to be mapped to the desired number of credits following customized rules of matching of number of credits to a particular student course and some skills. So complete freedom given to the university of mapping. Fourth step is the student passed the criteria, gets the badge, maybe manually or automatically, and Bestr immediately present it, offer it to the university. The student should be supposed to present that badge, but in fact Bestr, thanks to this mechanism, has already transmitted the awarded badge to the university. So university approves the award and recognizes the number of credits in automatic or manual way. That's the idea. And then the consequences are more credits or some degree, depending on the meaning of the badge. These are the examples the Professor Cherubini presented yesterday. In these examples, I only have to add the point of view, the technical point of view, our technical point of view. That's the international student badge carrying the information that a student has had a period of study, one or more period of study abroad. That periods are recorded inside the SIS, and after each of these, a message through XAPI statement comes to Bestr, and the badge gets, I'm nearly the end, gets issued. And what's new in 2017, in that message carries outcomes and evidence. Same for degree, that professor degree badges from the Professor Cherubini presented yesterday. It's automatic, and the XAPI statement carries the final dissertation title, abstract, and KPI, and credits and other information to be shown in the work page. Last step is alumni phase after graduation, maybe need of ongoing development on competencies along qualified and recognized paths. We can think of in short duration focused and vertical courses of master, and same mechanism, online or blended MOOC type, with endorsement by companies and automatically issuing by Bestr. So these are the present, these are the already implemented scenarios, some of them, and we can look at future badge scenarios. And so I end my presentation with an open, giving you an open discussion or ideas in which other scenarios do come to your mind. We as Bestr can adapt and implement the already well-known scenarios, but we are open to find even new scenarios and implement them. In fact, we have added a 7th step in this timeline, adding didactics before exam, so by badging lessons in some way. So all I need to say is thank you very much to everybody.
Any questions, comments?
Just one. I'm wondering how open you've found the various faculties, institutions, and departments to accepting and endorsing badges and credential pieces from other faculties and other institutions. I know in Canada it's really rare for one faculty to endorse skills that are acquired in a different faculty, or one institution to endorse skills that are acquired in a different faculty.
Because of stronger competition among universities. Universities in Italy are mainly public bodies. They are historically competing, but on a different, I think, different plane. I don't know if in English you say different place. And maybe that there is a simpler use case. Let's think about languages. If a faculty needs to heavily organize a high number of exams to certify English level B1, and another, let's say Padova faculty, routinely gives English courses, this could be a money-saving process. One university is teaching perfectly English, the second university accept that fact and don't spend money to organize exams and courses and so on. This is not at the level of competition of research, of reputation or something, but it's very practical. But also other scenarios are possible.
From your presentation, I gather that Cineca is the one who is issuing the badges. Is that correct?
Not exactly. We trigger the issuing. On Bestr, every organization differently is registered as issuer.
So the organizations themselves, the universities themselves, are the issuers? So if
yeah.
you test the badge, you see that it was the university that issues it?
Yes. As Cineca, inside Bestr, I didn't give any slide on Bestr to save time. Anyway, in the actors in Bestr, there is an issuer. You can register as an organization. An organization could be either issuer, learning provider, assessment provider, and so on. There is an organization entity. Every badge comes from the issuer organization registered on Bestr.
If the badge gets tested, it's tested against Bestr, or is it tested against the name of the issuer? How
Test in, what do you mean tested?
well, if you want to verify, yeah, if you want to verify from who this badge came, how do you see that?
The URL is the URL of Bestr or the URL of the university?
Yes, no, URL, all the URLs points on Bestr. But on Bestr, every issuer, in particular every university, has an organization registered and verified by us on Bestr. You cannot log in on Bestr and announce yourself as a university. One of the advantages, we think, in not being open to log in as a platform is that you have to come to us and talk face to face and sign a contract to register as issuer in Bestr. So if it's the real one, the University of Padova, it's the real University of Padova, not someone else impersonating them. So at the moment of the verification, even the URL points to Bestr. It's a reliable verification because there is a contract signed in the real world, not in the digital world.
Yeah, just a comment. I don't know if you have noticed, but there was XAPI, and I think the use of XAPI, which is Experience API, is interesting because you can collect a number of events and then issue a badge. You don't have to have 10 different badges in order to have a meta badge. You could decide to have a number of XAPI statements in order to generate a badge. So there is a sense of economy of badges if you use XAPI, so that could be interesting. I think the other point you mentioned...
At that stage, we don't do that. Maybe with the pathways of OpenAg,
yes.
you will be.
But also the idea to use the badges as a means to manage learning, the different processes in the university. And I think of one in particular, very simple, which is orientation. High school students going to university. In France, this is a total disaster that almost 50% of students just drop out because they are not fit for the kind of study they go to. And I think if we were able to use badges to inform them, to show the pathway from where they are as high school students to university, could be a very powerful tool to avoid all these dropouts in the first year of their study.
But we think also a very simple, trivial situation. University of Padova and their language courses, it's the same University of Padova that deliver language courses and it's the same organization that accept credits. Before Bestr, they exchange CSVs, files, and so on. And now we add a double value, automatic credit recognition, so saving a timing process, and give visibility and evidence with all the advantages of open badges to the single user, both students and faculty staff and researchers and teachers. Everyone inside Padova can be English certified or cardiopulmonary resuscitator certified, for example.
Okay. Thank you very much, Federico.
Thanks to everybody.
Coffee time.